Welcome back. So my name is Tyler, and this is part 3 of my review. Last time we talked about the first half of the story, but now, let's finish it. In order to cross the ocean, our heroes use the help of this guy and his airplane. This guy decides to help our guys cross the ocean because of the reward that he is promised. And what is that reward? That reward is a kiss. Yes, this guy risks his entire life on the promise of a kiss. What a fucking simp. Oh, by the way, he owns and knows how to operate one of the last remaining airplanes in existence. You'd think that girls would be lining up for this old dude. He's got valuable skills, and he's probably fucking loaded compared to the average peasants in this world, but for some reason, he can't help it. Anyway, there's this shark-looking vandal named Balius, and both Pola and Kisu take him on. He's about to do this blast from his mouth, but then Beet wakes up, and he shoots something into his mouth to choke him. This causes him to destroy his own seahorse. This is when things get interesting. So apparently, this guy's special ability is to turn metal that he eats into weapons using his body. It's not too different from Frosky's ability to use his whole body as a weapon, but in the case of Frosky, he was an assassin, and this guy is just a regular old vandal. The only story reason that I can think of for why this particular vandal can use his ability is to contrast with how Beet has improved since defeating Frosky. I don't think it was entirely necessary, but whatever. Beet then easily defeats this guy. He attempts to escape like the coward he is, and Beet cuts off the bottom half of his body in the attempt, displaying his new masterful use of the axe. Milfa then returns. She promises this guy that she'll give him a kiss after they get to their destination. The pilot agrees like the simp he is, and now they fly off. Meanwhile, the Vandals have plotted something interesting. Now, just to relay something that we already know, the hierarchy and society of Vandals, although not entirely presented to us, is very interesting. We already know that Vandals fight humans for ranks, just like Vandel Busters. They have their own currency, and they have their own distinct visions for the future of their race. Things that we don't know yet, but are beginning to understand, is the rank of the 8-star Vandal. There has never been a Vandal with a ranking of 8 stars, and as the Vandals have been told, the 8-star Vandal shall be the ruler of all the Vandals. Beltor's is a 7-star Vandal, as well as several others, and with the introduction of Beet, an opportunity has risen. A bounty is put on Beet's head by Shaggy, and it is given to every 7-star Vandal by the command of the gods of the Vandals. Yes, we get to see the gods, the literal creators of the Vandals. They are called the Eyes of Darkness. They are giant floating eyes that can speak telepathically. This reminds me of the description of the god in Dante's Divine Comedy, but in the case of Beet, I think that I understand these giant floating eyes a whole lot better. Also, this bounty plot point to give a Vandal the 8th star just happens to be introduced in the 8th volume of the series. Anyway, Shaggy describes the sacrifice of Beet as ushering in the climax of the Dark Age, and we don't get anything further from that. Back to Beet, monsters appear so he jumps off the plane to attack them, and in the water with no perceivable land around. Not the smartest plan. And also not the smartest writing either, because next thing we know, Beet and Kisu are on land fighting monsters, and they join up with this other team of warriors called the Ark Warriors. Beet explains that they were in the ocean, and they just happened to see them, so that's why they joined in. For some reason though, Kisu is here too. We didn't see him jump off the airplane like Beet, so it's led to believe he jumped off into the ocean after him, and when it comes to the dialogue between Beet and the Ark Warriors, Kisu is basically just there. His presence doesn't contribute anything. It kind of feels like an afterthought, like, you know what? I kind of want Kisu in this scene. He doesn't really add any value or any substance to it, and he could very easily have not been included at all, but I want him there. I kind of feel like a nitpicky asshole, but I probably am. After this, Beet and Kisu enter into the once thriving city of Becca, meet the leader of the country, and then, is that Cruz? One of the Xenon warriors? Yes, it turns out that Cruz, one of the former members of the Xenon warriors, is alive. The only problem is that he has amnesia. Beet tries to jog his memory, but it doesn't work, and the leader of the country that just gave him permission and his friends permission to enter, she gets mad, so she kicks him out of her mansion. The reason is that she actually saved Cruz and fell in love with him, and she doesn't want him learning of his past as it may lead him to leaving. It's clearly not the right thing to do, but it's at least understandable. Now, Cruz will actually get his memories back and end up staying with this girl in her mansion, and the person, or really the Vandal, responsible for this return of memory is this guy. This guy's name is Garenut, the immovable giant. This 7-star motherfucker shows up to Becca to kick Beet's ass and to take his life to get his 8-star. He has this cool power that can manipulate gravity that can make everyone else slower than him, and he also has monsters hidden in these bricks all across his body. Beet manages to hold his own using the gravity-defying Xenon blade, but he is shown to be the weaker opponent. That is when Deus Ex Machina happens. Garenut is sucked into a black hole, and this humanoid 7-star Vandal named Rodina appears. She's the one that teleported Garenut away, and she teleports him to this island. This island becomes the meeting place of all the 7-star Vandals, as well as the base for Garenut to execute his plan against Beet. While on the island, the Vandals have to decide the order that the Vandals will get to make their strike against Beet. Our giant pal here proposes a game that he has never lost, a game of cards. The order will be decided by the highest numbered card to lowest, and look at that, Garenut wins. I mean, it's pretty easy to win if you're cheating, but guess what, Garenut wasn't the only one cheating. Rodina was also cheating at this game, and she actually wanted Garenut to go first. What could be Rodina's reasoning for wanting Garenut to go first? More on that later. Meanwhile, Beet finds himself in the woods in the presence of this masked swordsman. His voice is the same that encouraged him to keep fighting against Garenut, and it is also the same voice that basically is alluded to being Xenon. Could this be Beet's older brother? Again, more on that later. For now, this masked guy challenges Beet's fortitude for his mission to end the Dark Age, and he also challenges Beet to a fight. He also reveals that he is knowledgeable about Beet's and the Xenon warriors, including Lao's Lance Saga. The swordsman then kicks Beet's ass, Beet remembers to believe in the heart of the cards, and then the fight ends in a draw. Beet tries to uncover more of the truth of this guy, but then he falls asleep. The swordsman takes Beet back to his pals, and then he freaking teleports. It is here that we learn his name, the Winged Knight. This then leads to our pal Garenut executing his plan. He kidnaps Cruz and he attacks the city. The Vandal Balius, who was thought to be dead, shows up, and all seems lost until our cool pal Slade arrives. The Beet Warriors save the city, my favorite monster tells the heroes that Cruz has been captured, our heroes invade our big pal's island, Cruz is found, and then another Coda Mambo reveals that, hey, it's a trap. I'm gonna drop a scene on you, and I'm gonna kill you. Thankfully, Kisu saves the day with his magic barrier. The heroes then fight against Garenut, and at the end of this fighting, they are victorious. For their prize, Cruz is saved, but so are his memories. So now, both Beet and the audience get to find out what happened so long ago in Chapter 1 with the Xenon Warriors and Beltors. During that battle, Cruz had his arms torn apart by Beltors, and then the Vandal reveals that he was handicapping himself the entire time. It appears that all is lost, but then Xenon reveals that he's been handicapping himself as well. Basically, both Xenon and Beltors are wearing weighted clothes like between the fights between Goku and Piccolo. Beltors has much more dark power, and Xenon, on the other hand, has much more divine power. Xenon has so much more divine power that he can actually fight against Beltors on strength alone. The cost though is that he will be sacrificing his body. Xenon has not mastered this power, and he had it sealed away until he would be ready. He would never get that chance. Beltors and Xenon then makes their fateful exchange, and then the battle is over. It is revealed that Beltors, who I guess is telling the guy the story at the same time as Cruz, is telling Beet that outside interference teleported all the Xenon warriors out of the fight. Could this outside interference possibly been Rodina? Next, we enter into the country of Sankmil. Sankmil is a thinly populated country with ancient customs. One of such customs entails that no one is allowed to be outside during the night of the red moon. Once a month, the red moon will shine, and when it shines, All the villagers hide in the basement until the next day arrives. This ancient custom actually has a reason for it, and that reason is freaking awesome. The reason for this ancient custom is because of this Vandal. His name is Sir Baron, and he is the king of the sky. He is known as the exceptional Vandal, respected by both humans and Vandals. The evidence of this respect by humans is his title of Sir. A long time ago, he defeated the strongest warrior of a country, quote-unquote fair and square, and upon that warrior's death, he was given the title of Sir. He presents himself as a noble knight, but once a month, that side of him goes away. On the night of the red moon, Sir Baron, king of the sky, sleeps while his conjoined brother takes over. On this night, the devil takes hold. Baron is also the Vandal that killed Kisu's teammates and spared him, leading to Kisu on his path to betrayal. Anyway, guess what? Sir Baron shows up and he kicks everyone's butt. He's about to spare Beet to fight another day, but then another 7-star Vandal shows up wanting to kill Baron in order to take his turn on fighting Beet. They fight, but with the devil now taking hold, he is defeated. It looks like Beet is going to die this time, but right when Beet needs it the most, his hope appears. Blue Zam's axe calls out to Beet, and he uses this power sleeping within it. The axe then becomes a hungry vortex. The Beet warriors are able to evade death once again. After this, Beet and the gang is taken to a secret hideout in the woods. Beet is asleep and not recovering, Kisu is broken thinking that he has betrayed his friends, and Baron is on his way. We meet the Milfa warriors, they and the Wee Knight fight against Baron, and they are defeated. In their defeat, the Wee Knight disappears like that of Xenon, basically making it so that if you weren't convinced already that it was Xenon, you are now, and Kisu regains his confidence in himself. Kisu then confronts Sir Baron, king of the sky, and that is where Volume 12 of Beet the Vandel Buster ends. So what happens next? Does Kisu defeat Sir Baron? Is that guy that obviously appears to be Xenon turn out to be Xenon? And what's up with that Vandal Radina? Like, it seems like she doesn't really want to fight humans, and she's constantly saving humans, but is that her plan? Does she have some ulterior motive? What's up with that? What happens next? Well, all those questions and more were thought to never be answered. What I mean by that is that the series was on hiatus for a long time. The series ran in monthly Shonen Jump from 2002 to 2006. After this, the series was put on a hiatus for nearly 10 years, supposedly due to an illness that inflicted the artist of the series, Koji Inada. The series returned in April 2016, and then it was put on hiatus again. The series then returned, and as of October 2nd, 2020, the 15th volume has been released. Now, it's wonderful that the series has come back, but you need to know that it's not so bright and happy. Back when the series began, it was being released in Shonen Jump, one of the most popular manga magazines, if not the most popular manga magazine of all time. Just having the association of Shonen Jump meant having more visibility, but not just inside of Japan. Outside of Japan, if you go to your nearest bookstore, you're probably only going to find the bulk of manga there released by Shonen Jump. The only other publisher may be the Shonen Magazine with their Top Dog Fairy Tail, but besides them, you're probably not going to see anybody else. So if your manga isn't being released in Shonen Jump magazine, whether it be weekly or monthly, it's probably not going to get a officially licensed English translation. Back then, Beet was being released in monthly Shonen Jump, but in 2016, it returned in Jump Square Crown. Jump Square Crown is a magazine owned by this company, the same company that owns Shonen Jump, but it's not the same. It's a different magazine with a different audience. It was predictably going to have less sales. Another hiatus then happened, Jump Square Crown then ceased publication, and then Beet returned in the inaugural issue of Jump Square Rise. Beet began its time in the limelight about 20 years ago, but now it's clearly not in it anymore. The frequent hiatuses, the change of magazines, and the overall future of this story is kind of just left up in the air. I mean, with Volume 13, I don't think It's and So On will ever get an officially licensed English translated release in the West, and that's a shame because I've been reading this series since I first started reading manga all the way back in middle school. In conclusion, Beet the Vandel Buster is a great and sad series. It's great because the heroes and the villains have a lot of complexity, it's an engaging story, it's fun, I really like what's going on. But it's sad because with the future, we don't know what's going to happen. With the frequent hiatuses, with the future, we're not really sure what's going on, with the change in magazines, and of course the supposed illness that the artist is going through and may still be going through. To me, Beet the Vandel Buster is on the same level as Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Bleach. And it is only because of unfortunate events that the series hasn't been able to progress. Now I hope in the future, if luck is on our side, that the story gets to progress and finally catch up to its brothers, and that's a future that I really hope for. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. See ya.